Connected. Yes, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Happy first Tuesday of 2023. And thank you for joining what is normally the morning cup of coffee with Mary May as a leadership strategist. Before you make any great decision, you got to have your cup of coffee or tea. And some people usually join with their morning smoothie. So we are at noon today because things was happening on this first Tuesday of the year. And I didn't want to not start you off with continuing the conversation that we've been having, continuing to pour into you and help you identify what is your personalized GPS in your leadership journey. Like, what is it that you are striving for? What are your intentions? But how do you get that transformation actually happening for you? And also understanding what gets in the way. Like, what are the things that get in the way that you become so comfortable with understanding how you can hide behind the curtain and believe that it's okay to be behind that curtain, to be silenced, and to continue to just do what you're doing. But if you're not authentically in your space of excellence, or you're in your space and you're peaking and deciding how you want to join, activate, participate in the conversation, or thinking that you don't have permission, this is the space for you. Because here what the GPS does and what it is that when you begin to develop what your leadership blueprint is, you can create a space. You will develop an identification of yourself that is no longer able to be hidden, because now you have created, understand what your footprint is, what gifts you give to the environment that you lead in. And how you lead personally impacts how you lead professionally, as well as anything that your lovely energetic spirit actually touches. So I help individuals move from being invisible to being and being passed over for opportunities of promotion, leadership, or anything that's going to help them level up in their career, to being promoted to the position that they want, and shifting the narrative and having that clarity of what their focus is. So by using the GPS formula, which is the goals, you get clear, you get the clarity that it is that you need. You begin to position and plan how it is that you would like to see yourself and live the life that you want on your own terms, as well as have the strategy with the side-by-side support that's going to help guide you to dealing with the potholes, the roadblocks, and the barriers that you just never see coming, or you may be aware that they're always coming at a certain time and you want to do something different. So in doing something different, you really have to do something different. You have to begin to frame and reframe how it is that you show up, and how it is that you can really put the spark to your transformation, and put the spark to how it is that you lead, so that people will be not only aware of the skill set that you truly bring to a conversation, but also being mindful of your purpose and what is going to give you that joy, and joy being your non-negotiable each and every day that you are walking in this space, and that you're not walking in this space in the absence of knowing what clear decisions that need to be made, what action needs to be taken, how people can navigate, how your team can be, built up, however it is that they need to be built up, but being in that space of integrity. Because if you are out of integrity, you are out of alignment. And if you are out of alignment, you're not functioning in those skills and that purpose that you have that was poured into you. So today, we're going to continue that conversation about mask wearing, and how wearing the mask in leadership, what are the costs of your silence and being hidden? So what is the cost of you being silent and not speaking up? Or what is the cost of you having the perception that somebody is going to see you. So if they're going to see you, they have to acknowledge and be able to understand what it is that you offer to the conversation. But for some reason, you've been doing that. You've been doing that with the same old two-step, the same thing, over and over again. However, it has not proven to you that you can actually level up in the way that you want. So you're surviving that residue that has occurred in previous conversations and choosing to allow it to kind of layer in to how you move forward and the things that it is that you do. So sometimes those 2 millimeter shifts, they can seem so very light, so very easy, so very oh, I just need to do this, I just need to stop eating sugar, or I need to just stop, I need to start working out more, I need to be more committed and with discipline to whatever the thing is, and it's going to make it happen. But there's always something that detours that commitment, because you're not necessarily accountability, because we can say accountability all day long, and accountability works. However, are you committed first? If you're not committed, then the accountability of another person will support you. However, it may have other challenges as well. And in the space of working to break the glass ceiling that does not exist, the glass ceiling that only exists in the space that you allow it to live, you would need to have the support side by side to identify how you are surviving to your CEO status, so that whatever those 2 millimeter shifts are can be personalized and infused through the use of the G.P.S, the leadership blueprint, on how you pour into yourself on a day-to-day basis. So we're going to jump into that really, really quickly. I enjoy engagement both live and on the replay. If you are here live, I thank you for taking a part of your day, your lunch break, your break period, to kind of allow yourself to be poured into and identify if this is speaking to you. Also, if you hear this message and you think, you know what, I got some team members, I got some colleagues that I think can also benefit from understanding what the cost of their silence and being hidden in the workplace, in their leadership role, can actually impact them, feel free to share. Feel free to, spread the word, if you will. And then also for the third person that may be here, the person who is catching on the replay because work did not allow you to take a pause and kind of jump in, but you was like, oh my God, Mary May is on at noon instead of at 7:30, bright and early in the morning. Let me see what she has to talk about. So today, again, we are talking on the second segment of mask wearing. And in this part of the segment, we are talking about what is the cost of your silence and being hidden in the workplace. And again, in the workplace means how it is that you are sitting at the table, you're invited to the table, but are you authentically really leading? Are you authentically sharing your feedback, or are you allowing others to share the same thing that you have done? You have put your footprint on, and they're getting the acknowledgement and your acknowledgement, and you feel as if you're continually getting passed over. The thing is that residue from previous experiences like that tend to give us a reason to pause, give us a reason to consider that what your contribution is may or may not be heard, or maybe you're not presenting it in the right way. And the thing is that it always comes down to energy. It comes down to clarity, how you're speaking, what goals that you are saying. Is it in alignment with the organization, or you being the organization? Is it in alignment with the direction in which people are trying to go? Or are you taking them on a detour that they can't see your big idea because it's just beyond the scope of what it is? And if that's the case, you may know and you may have information on how your big idea and how you frame the challenge and able to work through it, giving that 2 millimeter side by side support, that they're in handcuffs and you are not in handcuffs. You have that open opportunity to not have that limited mindset, and you believe and know that things can happen. The thing is that when those situations happen, you would best be served by breaking it down into clarified steps so that you can be heard. You can also break it down into the steps of what is important to the person in which you are presenting to. Do you know your audience? Do you know who is around the table that is hearing out what it is that you have to say? And you being mindful of, again, the energy in the room. So sometimes the energy in the room can trigger us to a previous conversation that did not go well. And rather than us staying present, we often get distracted by what that energy, what that response, what that reaction did for us before, and lose track of where it is that we are today and where it is that we are intending to transform moving forward. So when you think about previous layoffs, previous write ups, previous performance reviews, previous times when you have brought an idea or some kind of change agency to the conversation or to the table or to the development of something that is happening, the residue that you carry by not resolving how that triggers you is going to continue to trigger you until you identify not only the challenges within it, but also the strength. What does it cause you to rise to the occasion and do different? Because how you transform in your leadership begins to create that balance when you activate, when you take a moment to reset your own table, reset your own understanding and your belief around the conviction you have on changing the outcomes of something in an organization. So in that aspect, you begin to look at how it is that you can begin to not have your idea as a compartmentalized idea or a compartmentalized scope of work or something that's very minimized in regards to how it is that you do stuff. So the mirror check. We talked about mirror checking last week. That mirror check is looking at the residue that you carry from outside influences. You are going to, now let's go back to the present. You were doing a presentation, you were going through the flow of the conversation, and something was said, done, motioned, similar to how it is that you have experienced this situation before. However, it definitely caused you to be silent because it was not received well or you didn't like the feedback that you received. So when you think about that historical experience that you had, you carried residue because it was never resolved for you. And now you're in a new situation because it was never resolved for you. You are choosing to be silent. You are choosing to not put your best foot forward because you feel it didn't serve you the last time. However, when you reframe and understand that every single conversation that you have in the workplace, socially, anywhere that you are, is really an interview, because the things that you plant seeds for really give you that footing that someone now knows more about what you can offer to the project or to the skill set or to the group because of something that you shared. But if you have chosen based on the history of your experience of someone else silencing you, then you invite the invisibility to continue. You are choosing to be hidden and not allowing your greatness, your lane of genius to just kind of excel and show that you are the candidate that can help lead and grow the team or help lead and grow your business or help lead and grow how it is that you exist in relationships. Because the fact that you feel invisible based on the history of whatever is said, done, offered to you, the energy, the shift of movement in a room, if you are still holding on to something and it was not resolved for you, that experience carries you in the fact that you begin to compartmentalize and believe that it doesn't coexist in one space more than the other, or it's only at work when it occurs, and not realizing that because it happened at work, and when you go home or when you go to the gym or when you go out to eat, wherever else it is that you exist in a day, that energy of being invisible is now a boiling pot of hot water. And you are becoming so upset that the silence is not only challenging how it is that you are representing yourself as a leader, but it's also internally challenging your health. It's also internally challenging the energy that you give out in supporting other people. So that invisibility, I'm not blaming you. You have had these experiences that cause you to mask up and just not show that part of who you are. Because not showing that part of who you are has seemed to give you more benefit, more movement, more transformation of growth than being authentically you. You have to realize that when the table was set with the gifts that you were given, that you have to understand that everybody is not going to be on the same page with you. So, in them not being on the same page with you and able to stand side by side, then you are always going to encounter whatever that historical energy was, but you can't allow that historical energy to have so much grounding that it redirects your opportunity of being able to be promoted and well paid, or being able to be seen and leveled up in your career, however it is that you want to do. Or if it's trying to be growing your business, understanding that your invisibility may be because you are stretched too far and too wide. You need a team that's going to help you delegate those different things that you need to do. So it's like we have to be able to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because the only time growth happens is when you're uncomfortable. Now, granted, sometimes we want to coast along. We want to just say, oh, well, my ideas don't matter, or my ideas, every time I present something, is rerouted, so it must not be the right thing. It might be the fact that you're at the wrong address, or you're at the wrong table, or you're inviting the energy that is not serving you to be able to elevate up the way that you would like to. And what happens when you become so comfortable that you don't activate what transformation it needs to happen, the cost is you are feeling tired, fatigued, not wanting to get up to go to work. You fear on missing out on certain things that's actually happened, and you become distracted by what's not working, or what hasn't worked, or what you believe is not working. Because sometimes those things that we believe may or may not be working are actually working in the background to kind of test our identification of clarity, or kind of test our identification of our footprint, and are we going to do what we said we were going to do. So that residue of something being taken from you, or that residue of feeling separated, you have to realize that the only way you're going to know that if your success, if you can be authentically bodacious in a situation, is if you stand in it. You understand that history doesn't have to dictate the present, and the present is only informing me of what it is that I need to do different and pivot. And it's okay to change. It's okay to do something different, or learn what you need to unlearn. Because when you pull back that curtain, you're identifying something that you probably have never identified before. And sometimes it might hurt. Sometimes it might sting, but the cost of not pushing through it to have that better version of you on the other side really is the cost of you choosing to remain unpleasant, unhappy, distracted, and not really being bodaciously and authentically you in how it is that you're going to serve. So we're in this season where everybody is probably talking about like vision boards and goals and stuff like that. And we can talk about that stuff all day long. But the challenge is we don't really know how to build up that muscle to kind of make sure that we can grow beyond where we have ever grown before. And most of the times you have to have someone who has done the work similar to you, or they can guide you into understanding what mind shift, what strategy, what discipline are you going to need in order to be effective in moving and leading forward. So when you go to being effective and being consistent, it's going to take a different level of energy, a different level of motivation, a different level of conviction. You have been assigned to be a leader. Whether the title and how you serve professionally or personally is leader or not, you have been given the opportunity to have that particular situation work out best for you. So when you do that, you begin to understand how it is that you understand what it is that it needs to take for you to make that 2 millimeter shift. People don't often want to talk about the mind shift. But in order to get to the strategy so that you can execute using the discipline, there has to be a different viewpoint on how you see yourself and how you engage with that daily divorce of self. Because that daily divorce of self, when you are feeling like, I'm just going to go in today and I'm just going to be. If you choose to just go in and be, that conversation, that energy is a part of the hashtag that I often use, daily divorce of self. You're not making the better decision to decide what it is that you need to separate from, separate, break from, separate, and step into what you have outgrown, to know that the limiting ideas that you have around how you can be promoted, how you can have more success, is all in the same of the GPS rerouting your destination. You typed in where it was that you wanted to go, and it's showing you along the way different detours, different opportunities, different distractions. One, to test if this is where you really want to be, but then two, it's showing you things that you have outgrown that you usually slip back and fall into because it's comfortable. We can't be comfortable as a leader. Your voice, your intentions, everything that you bring to the table, the energy that you bring to the space, the command that you have when you walk in the room, people need to understand that you mean business. And in order for you to mean business consistently and authentically, you may have to understand, what does your cover story actually communicate out to the world? Like, what is your energy? What are you carrying from one room, one conversation to the next? If your cover story has an element of you looking good and you feeling good, but are you leading phenomenally and bodaciously, authentically in your space and lane of genius? And if the answer is no, you really have to ask yourself, why not? You have to ask yourself, what's holding you back? You have to ask yourself, why is it that you don't want to do the work? So the last question, if you're not willing to do the work to be able to reassemble your table of excellence, your table of opportunity, then you really are not in the intention space of leveling up yourself individually so that you can stand out, authentically in other spaces. So the only way to be able to do that is engineering backwards to, are your goals truly, truly your goals? Are your intentions and how you show up truly, truly the way that you want to be seen, heard, and leveled up into the promotion and the life that you want to live on your own terms? Do you realize that your intentions have a way deeper and powerful tool on how your inner strength, how you're being, determines what your actions are, what you're disciplined about, what you're committed to. And you are willing to kind of make that shift to unlock a lifelong habit. Because the lifelong habit is the barrier that's costing you your ability to get the promotion, to get the opportunity, to get the mindset, the ability to recognize that having a mindset difference is going to make, excuse me, is going to make all of the world of difference for you in knowing how it is that you would like to be seen, heard, no longer invisible, and being promoted into the next level of how it is that your career, your business, your lifestyle that's going to lead into how you are as an individual in the community, in your relationships with those who you care for or those who experience you on the other side of your transformation. So the table of opportunity is always there for you. The thing is, when you reset your goals, are you going to allow them to be stagnant? Yes, they may be visible on a probably a dry erase board like what's behind me, or a vision board, or something that you create because this is the transformation season. But what is going to get you to actually have an execution strategy that's going to help you be able to put those goals into motion? Because we can write down goals, we can have multiple tablets all day long, but the table of opportunity is constantly evolving. But are you evolving with it, or are you choosing to just be comfortable with the status flow and remain silent? So the best thing to do is to really have like that really introspection where you can authentically, safely have a third person who is understanding and have the discernment to be able to hear the themes, hear what it is that's going to make you confront those internal factors that usually talk you out of stuff, that daily divorce of self, and look at the external factors, like when you're in that conference room in the present, and the history is influencing how you respond today. You have to begin to relearn and reshift how it is your strategy and your discipline is going to be. And I always like to share that after you do that and you pour your ideas out, you're going to be snatched. But the acronym for snatched in my space, after you have thoroughly gone through the blueprint, you've infused the GPS to get the success that you are looking for, is going to require you to be strategic, networking, building the alliances that yield transformative collaborations that help energize development. I know that's a mouthful. However, we got to get snatched. Sometimes you need somebody to just shake you up, be like, girlfriend, what's up? We got to do something different. So in order to do something different, you really got to be able to say, okay, how do I want to change the programming? How do I want to unlearn what is not serving me? And how can I stop making excuses? Excuse me. Let me drink some of this coffee. How can I stop making excuses that's going to pause me, help me procrastinate, not leveraging my skills that I already have to guide me in activating my purpose and my change agency on how it is that I'm supposed to be? Because if you're making excuses, you're choosing to sit still. If you're making excuses, you're choosing to wake up unhappy at whatever situation it is that you are assigned to do. If you are making excuses, you are delaying the opportunity and sitting in a holding pattern that's not going to allow you to level up. So you have to make that decision whenever it hurts you the most, or whenever it bothers you the most, whenever you've lost enough sleep, whenever you're tired of people saying, oh my God, you look so tired. You look so fatigued. Are you okay? Hopefully there's somebody checking in on you. And with somebody checking in on you, it should help boost that confidence that you know that you have to be able to be that bodacious, authentic leader that you are. But you need that secret sauce. You need that secret sauce so that you can pour it into your blueprint, so that your blueprint can be unique to you, unique to your assignment, but also so that you can be living as your best individual and how it is that you choose to serve. So that's my nugget for today. The cost of your silence and being hidden is not allowing you to communicate effectively, communicate knowing that you may sometimes have discernment and insight to the problem that you are fixing much larger than the people who you are speaking with. So if that is the case, you got to engineer it backwards so that they can not only understand it, but be able to execute the steps that you want, but be inclusive on how you build that team and how you leverage not only your skills, but leverage their skills so that you can activate with the purpose and effectively be able to navigate with the GPS, which is those goals with clarity, being able to plan a position, and having a strategy that's going to help you get snatched to leveling up your career unapologetically in your space. So I look forward to being able to pour into your cup, guide you through that GPS, and seeing how we can move from your confidence coming through completion, like you completing whatever your next version of your leadership is going to be. Not a new year, new you, but what is your next version? Your next version may only exist in temporary moments. It may be you may get a promotion today, and you get there and they're like, you know what, we misread what your true skill is. We're gonna level you up again. And it's no time frame. The time frame is you pulling back the curtain, you confronting you be having the identification to realize that the history of your experiences are informing your ability in your survivor to CEO status. So I want you to be able to survive those conversations unapologetically. And if you also are interested in doing that as well, so that you can have a different experience for how it is that your footprint, your voice, your intentions, your clarity, all things connected to you as a leader, feel free to go to the link of go.onetub.com/Mary and the number one, and be able to kind of grab, look at your calendar. When do you have the most effective time that you can pour into yourself, but then also do a mind dump so that you can begin to identify, is this strategy the strategy that's going to help you level up? And I would hope that it is. However, I understand if it's not, because it's not for everybody. But it's been a pleasure joining you in your lunchtime for this drive-by leadership nugget, and hoping that you found something, you heard something either live or on the replay. And I look forward to hearing from you soon. So in the meanwhile, you stay safe and you take care. Have a wonderful day leading unapologetically. Take care.